Okay, welcome back everybody. This is Parashat Vayera. Vayera, we're talking about, starts off with the three Malachim that came to visit Avram Avinu after he got the Brit Milah. And the story continues. They said, you're going to have a kid next year, next Moed, whatever that meant. And he had Yitzchak. 37 years later, Hashem commanded Abraham, take Yitzchak and bring him a sacrifice to me. That was the story of Akedat Yitzchak. So in this topic, we're going to soon get to that, but it brings down a Gemara, Perek Tet Brachot. Rabbi Eliezer says, Kol hachalamot holchin achar hapeh. All dreams go after the person's mouth. What does this mean? It means that the way the dream is going to be interpreted is the way the dream is going to be fulfilled. So kashe, hachalom hu davar shekvar nigzar bebeit din shel mala. Does anyone know why you have a dream? Why does a person even have dreams? A person has a dream because Hashem is trying to let him know what's going to happen to him in the future. Meaning we're talking about dreams that are not like, usually dreams are things you see throughout the day, it's going to come up in your dream. But if you have a dream, something that you weren't even thinking about, what's that dream coming to you for? It's coming to you because Hashem is trying to signal you. Let's say it's a bad dream, chas v'shalom. Hashem is trying to tell you, bad decrees put upon you. And I'm showing it to you, I'm giving you like a little foreshadow about it. I'm giving you time to do teshuvah. If you do teshuvah, if you fix your sins, because the only problems come because you're sinning. So if you fix your sins, I'm going to take away the bad decree. But if you don't, this bad decree is going to come upon you. And Hashem shows it to you through the dream. So now, this guy comes along, and someone's explaining to him, oh, you know what your dream means? Your dream means this. It means that you're going to really become rich, and it doesn't really mean it's bad. And he could turn all for the good. And it says, how in the world could someone take a dream that means that it's decreed in Shamayim that something bad's going to happen to you, and he could take it and flip it for the good? Levatel hadavar hu v'lavo davar hefech hachalom. He could totally flip it. Shamayim said bad. This guy, this random guy, he said, oh no, it's going to be good. Everything's going to be great. This guy, maybe he's not even Tamid Chacham. He's not even a Navi. It could be random Joe Schmo. He's interpreting your dream, and he can make it to good. So where do we see that a person has such an ability to do this? So there's a Gemara in Moed Katan, third parak. It's a story between Pinchas and Shmuel, two brothers. Pinchas lost a relative. I guess they're not related, like someone from his other side, let's say his wife. He's sitting Shiva. Now his brother Shmuel comes to visit him, to console him. And while he's there, he looks at Pinchas's nails, and he said, yo, Pinchas, why is your nails so long? Why you didn't cut them? And what's the obvious answer? Yeah. Sitting Shiva, Avel, you can't cut your nails. So he tells him like this. He says, what, if it would have happened to you, you would take this so lightly while you're Navel, you would cut your nails? So right away, since he said if it would have happened to you, he gets a call once he leaves the house, one of your close relatives died. Shmuel. Now Shmuel is sitting Shiva also. Pinchas comes to visit him later, and when Shmuel sees Pinchas, he gets fired up and he starts throwing his nails at him. And he says, do you not know that the power of speech, a person's words, are able to change upcoming events. Things that are not even supposed to happen. Amar le, let lach berit kirutali svatayim. Do you not believe that a covenant is made with the lips? Meaning that Hashem gave the power to a person's mouth that he could change future decrees. Damar Rabbi Yochanan, minayin sheberit kirutali svatayim. Where do we know that there's such a thing, that there's a covenant made with the lips? That the words have power? So the proof is from our parasha, the Akedat Yitzchak. We read every morning, Vayomer Abraham ne'arav shevu lachem po im hachamor v'hani v'hanar nelchat ko. You guys stay here with the donkey. There was 4 people traveling. It was Abraham, Yitzchak, Eliezer, and Ishmael. So Abraham and Yitzchak were going to go up the mountain, and he told Eliezer and Ishmael, he said, guys, stay here with the donkey. We're going to go up there. We're going to do our business. We're going to serve what we got to serve. And we're going to come back down. But what did he say? He said, we will come back down. Did he know Yitzchak's going to survive? Wasn't he going up there with the thought that he's about to chop his son's head off? And he's going to do shechting his son? So why is he saying we're going to return? Doesn't make sense. So what was Avram doing? Avram put a positive word into it. He said, we will return. So because he said, we will return, he was able to change the event of Akedat Yitzchak leading to Yitzchak's death and actually make it a result in Yitzchak staying alive. With just that simple word as, we will return. Now, Be'emet, so that's where the Gemara stops. The Gemara stops over there, brings down the story of Pinchas and Shmuel, and then it brings the proof of Avram Avinu. But if you think about it, it's not really a good proof. Because we're trying to prove that you're able to switch a decree based on your words. But the story of Avram Avinu, was it decreed that Yitzchak was supposed to die? What was it decreed? It was a test, exactly. The whole entire thing was just one big test, because it says in the first parak of Tanit, it says, Lo tziviti v'lo dibarti v'lo ata libi. Hashem said, I never even thought for a split second that Yitzchak was going to die. Yitzchak's not supposed to die. I did this all for a test. Now, why did Hashem ever think about such a test? So the Gemara in Sanhedrin brings down a story that apparently Avram made a big feast when Yitzchak was, when he was born, around that time. At this feast, he invited everybody, everyone was invited, had a good time. Satan comes to Hashem and he says, Hashem, look at Abraham. He's making a huge feast for his son. For his son, he's like, he was waiting 100 years. Not even one point in the feast did he bring a korban. Did he bring an offering to Hashem? Nothing. So you know what Hashem told him back? Hashem told him, if I would ask him to bring his son as a sacrifice, he would do it in a split second, without any questions. So we see, what's the whole entire thing of Akedat Yitzchak? It was all a test to see, will Abraham do what Hashem commanded, even though it's hard. Person's son, he was waiting 100 years for this kid. 37 years later, he's enjoying him, he's already all grown up. Tell him to shecht him. Bring me to Hashem. I thought the whole thing was Yitzchak was going to be the continuation of Abraham's legacy. Now you're telling me to shecht him? But what did he say? Unquestionably, he went. By Yeshkem Abraham Babolker, he even did it bizrizut, as soon as he could in the morning, and he went. So the question is what? How could you bring a proof that you could change decrees based on your mouth from Avram Avinu? Avram Avinu wasn't changing decrees. Avram Avinu just happened to say something that was the truth. Omer davar shesofo liot kach. What was going to happen? What was supposed to happen? Yitzchak was not supposed to die. What did Avram say? Avram said, we will return. So it was like he had a nevuah without even knowing. It was like a prophecy without even knowing he was prophesying. He said a prophecy, he said, we will return. We will return. But how did he know they're going to return? Okay, he didn't know. It was just a prophecy. But that's not a proof that words are able to change the course of events through the future. So we have to look into the Midrash. The Midrash Rabbah says on the pasuk of Vahi ki zaken Yitzchak v'tichena einav merot. Parashat Toldot, I think, brings down that Yitzchak's eyes became dim. His eyes weren't able to see as well. Now there's a bunch of pshatim. Some famous ones are because when he was during the Akedat Yitzchak, the angels were crying, seeing Yitzchak about to die. So their tears fell into his eyes. And once they fell into his eyes, it made him later have this problem of blindness. Another pshat, another explanation, is that the korbanot that Esav brought to his avodah zarah, the smoke went into Esav's eyes, and that caused him to be blind. Yitzchak's eyes, and that caused Yitzchak to become blind. But the way the Midrash understands it is that Avram Avinu, he tied down Yitzchak onto the altar. He tied him down, and while he was there, Tala einav v'ibit be'shchina. He looked up, and he was gazing at the Shekhinah. The Shemayim, I guess, opened, and he was able to see directly to the presence of Hashem. And we know there's a rule. Anyone that sees God, chayav mitah, has to die. So Yitzchak, Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu, Im ani hargo achshav, if I'm going to kill Yitzchak right now, Avram's going to be in a lot of pain. Harina machriyat Avraham avi. My loved Avraham is going to be in pain. So what am I going to do? So he said, what am I going to do? So he said, Avraham is going to be in pain. This actually we see also that a person doesn't die unless there's everyone around him that's going to care about him is not a tzaddik. Doesn't deserve it, that's the word. So for example, let's say someone has a great-grandfather. So the great-grandfather is not going to die if he has great-grandchildren or grandchildren or children that care about him, that will be hurt by him, and they deserve not to be hurt. So if a person around you, if they like you, and they're going to get hurt by you dying, it elongates your life. So Yitzchak was supposed to die. But because Avraham Avinu was going to get hurt, because his only son's going to die, his real son, then what's going to happen? He's not going to like it. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem said, I'm going to instead just make him blind. In the future, when he gets older, I'm going to take away his sight. So what do we see from here? We see from this midrash that Yitzchak was really chayav mitah. Yitzchak was supposed to die. And the reason why he was saved is because Avraham Avinu changed the way he spoke. He said, we were starting in the beginning of the shiur, we said that when they said Avram, Yitzchak, Yishmael, and Eliezer were traveling together to the Akedat Yitzchak, to the mountain, Har Moriah. Avram and Yitzchak went up. Right before they went up, Avram told the two people, Eliezer and Yishmael, he told them, we will return after we're done. Now how could it be we if he's going to sacrifice Yitzchak on the mountain? So he said, how could it be we? So he said, because Abraham used the positive language of we, he said, don't worry, we're going to return. He basically made the forecast of the future be that he won't die, and rather he's going to live. But we said, wasn't it all a test? It was all a test. So it wasn't that it was supposed to die. Yitzchak was never supposed to die. Yitzchak was supposed to live. Nothing was supposed to happen. And because of that, it's not a good proof to show you that words have the power to change the future. So we say, really, Yitzchak was supposed to die. Because from this midrash, we see that Yitzchak was chayav mitah because he looked at the Shekhinah during the time when he was bound to the altar. When Avram Avinu bound him, he was facing Shemayim, and he saw the Shekhinah. And anyone who sees the Shekhinah is supposed to die. So Yitzchak was supposed to die. But because of Avram's positive language, he saved Yitzchak. Now how do we connect this back to the dreams? We said, all dreams go after the way they're interpreted. Kol hacholamot olchim achar hapeh, mishum dibrit kruta lisvatayim. Now we understand perfectly. Do you have to be a Navi? Do you have to be Chacham to interpret someone's dream from a bad decree? And you can say, no, it was a good dream. It really meant that this and this and this bracha, this blessing, even though it was a terrible dream. So you're able to fix it. Why? Because a person's mouth, a person's words are able to change the future. Who do we see that from? Avram Avinu. We see that from Avram Avinu. And that's why the Zohar brings down, Zeu Shamar B'Sefer Zohar, Parashat Vayeshev, says, Lo lishtai inish chama el ma derachem le. Never tell over your dream to someone that doesn't like you. If the guy doesn't like you, don't tell him his dream. What is he going to do to you? He's going to say, oh, you know what that dream means? That you're supposed to die early, chas v'shalom. Your kids are supposed to die. You're not going to have good parnasa. Your business he's going to take your dream, and even if it was for good, he's going to make it fully for bad. So the Zohar says, never tell your dream over to someone that doesn't like you. Now, how does it work? I tell over a dream to somebody. He interprets it for good. And all of a sudden, it's good. What's the mechanics behind it in Shemayim? What's going on in the heavens that it does this? Okay? So, the Zera Shimshon explains, that good word that you gave to your friend, you said, that dream was very good. Nivra mimenu malach tov melitz. You created a good malach. You created an angel. It's going to go up there and it's going to defend against the guy. Kemoshi Adanu, we know every single word that a person comes out of his mouth, any word, it creates an angel. You're speaking Torah, it's creating good angels. Any word. Anytime. So right now we're speaking Torah, we're listening to Torah, it's creating good angels. Person curses, chas v'shalom, what did he just do? He created a bad angel. Now the bad angel is not going to harm anyone but himself. It's going to go on him. You create a bad angel for yourself. Now it's going to prosecute against you. So anytime a person speaks, it's always creating angels. Now this guy, the interpreter of the dream, he did two things. He said something good, he interpreted it in a good way, and he did chesed, he did a kindness for this guy, because he interpreted it in a good way. So this malach that he created is a very strong malach, has the power of chesed within it. So it's going to go up to Shamayim, and it's going to defend against the dreamer. So if the dreamer had a bad decree, it's going to try to nullify the decree, the malach. And it says, Im yesh alav malach melitza echad mini aleph. The pasuk says in Yov, if there's even one good malach, it could fight against 1,000. And Hashem says, I'm going to look at the one and say, I'm going to redeem him from going down to the grave. He's supposed to die, he's supposed to suffer. That one malach could save him. So what do we see? That when a person says a good dream to someone, he interprets it in a good way, what is he essentially doing? It's the malach that's created from the good word that's changing the interpretation of the dream. It's not that you're changing just the decree all of a sudden. It's that the malach is fighting for your cause. And it can even go against 1,000. It can plow down 1,000 prosecutors. But just like you could affect the future in a positive way, like Avram Avinu did, from the story of Pinchas and Shmuel, the mourners, what do we see over there? Could also affect it in a negative way. So if a guy says, that dream that you had, wow, that was a bad dream. And he says this, and he says that, and he makes your whole entire dream terrible. So what you just do? You just ruined it for yourself. Also, why? Because when this guy's speaking bad about your dream, he's doing just the opposite of chesed. He's going against you. So what did he just create? He created a kategor. Kategor is a prosecuting angel. Angel that goes and attacks who? Not the guy who interpreted the dream.
Angel.
The angel, who does it attack?
The other good angels, no?
No, exactly. The good decree.
Right, the good decree.
And now who has the good decree? The guy who had the dream. So now that this guy interpreted the dream for you, you just made it bad for yourself. You just took it, and you just took your dream that was supposed to be good, and you shoved it like into the garbage now, and it's gone. The Gemara Brachot says, a dream is like an envelope. If you leave a dream uninterpreted, it's like leaving an envelope unread. Nothing good, nothing bad's going to happen. So you might as well leave the dream alone. Don't tell anybody, because he might say it bad. And it's going to be like an envelope. In this envelope, you could either have $20 million winning ticket from the lottery, or you could have $20 million lawsuit, paycheck, to pay it. But the guy who opens the envelope, the interpreter, is the guy who's putting in what's inside. So you don't know, is he going to put in the lottery ticket or is he going to put in the lawsuit? So you don't want to take the chances. So the Gemara Brachot says, leave it alone. Leave it alone. So we see that there's the power of a person's words. Actually, Papa, can I say that thing about the car? Say it. So basically, there's a story about the power of words. Basically, my dad's car broke 2 weeks ago. His truck. All of a sudden, stopped on the road. Trying to turn on, nothing's working. So he needs to get it towed, needs to take it to the shop. They don't even know what's wrong with it. They have a bunch of recalls. So he's using my mom's car. Now he takes this car and he's driving it around everywhere, 2-3 days. And my mom, I don't know why she said this, but she said something happened and she said, oh, he ruined his car, now he's going to ruin my car. What happened the next day?
Bro.
The next day, you're backing out of an alley. And the same alley he's been backing up every single day, twice, 2-3 times a day. All of a sudden, bah, slams it on something. Back of the car dented. Now, it wasn't his fault. Why? Because it's something you normally do. Whose fault was it? It was the bad malach that was created from the bad speech. Because the bad speech was created. Now, my mother knows you have to be careful of the way you speak.
No.
Yeah? It's honest, but you have to sometimes suffer. That the bad speech that created this malach went against the car, because it was against the car. It said, now the car is going to get ruined. Bam! Literally 1 or 2 days later, car broke. We see the same exact concept by Yaakov Avinu. Not Lot. What was his name? Lavan. Lavan was chasing after Yaakov, and he said, where are your idols? Where are my idols? Where are my idols? You took it, you stole it. And Yaakov Avinu said, go check my camp, I didn't take anything. And he said, if I took it, may the person who take it die. Now Yaakov Avinu didn't mean, who took it, right? Rachel took it. So he didn't want Rachel to die, but the bad words that come out of your mouth, they always go somewhere. Like we said, the malach is created every single time you speak. So even if you didn't want something to happen, even if it was just a slip of words, like the case of Pinchas, he just slipped it out and he said, if this would have happened to you, everything has a cause and effect reaction. You might affect yourself. It's now you're only hurting yourself, basically. So we see from here, this week's parsha, from Avram Avinu, you could use your words for the good. You could take it. He said, we will return to you. And because of that, Akedat Yitzchak was spared. Pinchas and Shmuel. Pinchas told Shmuel, what if you became an Avel, if you became into mourning, into Shiva, would you not cut your nails? Because of that, what happened? Shmuel's relative immediately died. And we see the same thing by the dreams. Dreams can be interpreted for good, can be interpreted for bad. When you interpret it for good, you're creating good angels that are fighting against the bad angels, the bad decrees. And you could flip them. You don't even have to be a rabbi. You could flip it, just a normal guy interpreting your dream. But if you interpret it for the bad, it's going to be bad. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen. Amen.